Happy Halloween! Feliz El Dia de los Muertos to those who celebrate that over the next couple of days. Because the 2 days are not quite the same. They're all part of a 3-day cycle. Halloween, All Saints, and All Souls. Known in Spanish-speaking countries, especially Mexico, as El Dia de los Muertos. Hello again, everybody. It's Migueltio, the North Country Calavera. In this case, celebrating El Dia de los Muertos as well as I celebrate Halloween with the rest of the fam. And today, we're going to make a new recipe, thanks to a friend of mine in New York, Michelle Roqueta, who sent me a link to a recipe for a different kind of Pan De Muertos. Of course, I make the traditional Pan De Muertos every year, and I hope everybody's enjoyed it who's had some. And this time, going to infuse another awesome Mexican ingredient, chocolate. Chocolate Pan De Muertos. Can you believe it? I never even knew chocolate Pan De Muertos existed. I mean, you've got the famous chocolate babka episode of Seinfeld and all that. But hey, chocolate Pan De Muertos is good for me. A little bit of Halloween with chocolate, a little bit of Pan De Muertos with Dia de los Muertos. What can I tell you? So anyways, we start with a good half a cup of warm water, agua, into a bowl. Agua de calor. And then you take your good old package of active dry yeast, any brand will do. Doesn't matter, as long as it's good, as long as it's not expired. You gotta cut these things, they're a pain, you can't just rip them. Nobody makes stuff so you can just open it up anymore. You ever notice that with food? It's amazing. And especially meat. I'm noticing it more, and they want you to be all nice and clean with your meat and all that. How can you be when you got to cut the thing and the stuff all over the place? What are you going to do, you know? Just be the best you can in the kitchen. I'm going to put my yeast into the bowl. Ba-boom. As well as that, a teaspoon of sugar. No medicine going down around here, folks. This isn't Disney. Oh well, such is life, huh? Whoa. Yeah, teaspoon. There we go. Teaspoon of sugar into the bowl. Now, that's got to sit for a good 10 minutes. Because if anybody out there has ever made any bread, you start with the water and the sugar a little bit and the yeast, and it's got to froth up and soften. So a good 10 minutes to let this happen. There you go. Set your timer and away you go. Alright, now that 10 minutes has passed and our little water and yeast mixture has softened, I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter, which, you know, those of you on the non-margarine kick, it's better to cook with margarine than it is to actually use it on bread and stuff like that, because all that stuff they talk about breaks down when you cook with it. So 2 tablespoons of that. And also, we're going to add a half a cup of cocoa powder. Take your cocoa powder, any brand. Half a cup. Put it in. Put that away. And we're going to take some brown sugar. 1/3 of a cup. And that's going to go in. Doesn't matter which grade of brown sugar. Light, dark packed, whatever you want. As long as it's 1/3 of a cup, you're good to go. Stir it all around a little bit. Have your hand mixer on standby, because you're going to be hand mixing this stuff all together in just a minute. And we're going to take a half a cup of warm water. Get your water nice and warm. Cold water doesn't count. half a cup of warm water into the mix. And if you're not a coffee drinker, don't worry. Cooking with coffee is okay. 2 teaspoons of instant coffee, any brand will do. Doesn't matter if it's decaf like this one is or what. There's 1. There's 2. Boing. Always keep a can on. Even though I drink green tea, I'd keep a can of coffee like this on. Jar, instant coffee. Because a few recipes like this happen to call for it. What are you going to do, you know? And then your anise seed. And with the anise seed, a teaspoon. There you go. And you're going to do this on low. Mix it together on low with your hand mixer. So get the spoon out of there if you're stirring stuff in, because you don't want to have it all messed. There we go. Mixing that around so it's well blended. Kind of like making a cake compared to the other recipe I have, but what are you going to do, you know? The more traditional Pan De Muertos. Kind of like Pan De Muertos meets chocolate Halloween candy, I guess you could say. Almost like the Reese's peanut butter cup. You got your chocolate in my peanut butter and peanut butter in my chocolate, you know? Remember those commercials years ago? Younger viewers, now you don't remember them all well. You guys are cool too. Alright, so that's low is all you need. Don't need to go high in 20 minutes and all that kind of thing like a cake. That's all mixed together. Now, of course, you can't have bread without flour. So get yourself some flour out. 2 cups. Oh, this whole wheat flour. Ah, there's my bread flour. Beautiful. I got it. It's like whole wheat flour. I suppose it could work with that. You know, it could work, but I'm going to use bread flour. Because what's better for bread than better for bread flour? If it says better for bread on the label, take the advice, you know. 2 cups of flour. Into the measure we go. Trying not to make a mess, because boy, flour messes are not fun, and I am guilty of those as anybody else. 2 cups of flour. I'm going to turn this thing. There we go. Pour it in. Put my flour away. At least for now. May need it again later. Okay? And I'm going to turn this with a spoon and see what happens here. Because sometimes I've noticed when I make my regular Pan De Muertos, they call for such and such a flour. And I suppose that happens with any bread. They call for so much flour, and you start mixing it, and they want you to knead it and all this stuff. But no matter how much you put in to adhere to their recipe, it's still gooey as all get out. So that's why I'm keeping my flour kind of close by over there. Because guess what? It's still gooey as all get out. So I'm going to... Now, I've got another bowl here that I have got prepared because I'm at that state where the ball of dough is good. I'm going to spray this other bowl with olive oil and cooking spray all over the place. Take my ball of dough that is nice and elastic, not sticking to my hand, and I'm going to put it in that other bowl and roll it around till it's coated on all sides. there it is. And the next thing is to cover it for a good hour, hour and a half to let it rise. And then we'll start the process towards baking. In the meantime, get yourself one of these awesome discs of Mexican chocolate. They're about 3 ounces. This one's by Ciabatta, but of course a lot of people can get abuelita and all that. Put it in a food processor and chop it up well. Chop it till it's well done. Because you're going to need it after the bread is done rising. Alright, now that dough has risen. And there you see the skull and crossbones. So with this recipe, unlike the classic where you brush it with an egg mixture, this is a milk. Any milk you want. Brush it with milk. About 1/4 cup. So it's spread out evenly over the skull, over the bones, over the whole dough. I chose skim milk. You can choose any degree of milk you want. Got the oven preheated for about 425. Sprinkle it with a little sugar. Evenly around, just like the classic. Open your oven and put it in. 25 to 30 minutes and you're good to go. Like that, it's time to take it out. Let's get a look here. Oh, this is awesome. It expanded more really well in the oven, just like the classic recipe does. Chocolate Pan De Muertos. Pan De Muertos chocolate. A new Dia de los Muertos cuisine. A new treat. And a work of art, I must say. For Halloween, not much candy left. And we got some new stuff to try. Pan De Muertos chocolate. And this is Migueltio, the North Country Latino, saying, hey, everybody have a beautiful Halloween out there and a fabulous Dia de los Muertos. Here's a shout out to all the kids at school today. So I missed you today. And let me tell you something. This is those Io Fields. I thought Hannah Iofield made an awesome sugar skull project. Haley owes her a bundle for making her dress up like that going to her class. So anybody who watches this, Mrs. Vanilla, Mrs. Ho, any of you kids out there, you make sure that Haley gives it right back to Hannah for doing that for her. I hope she got a good grade. But anyways, Feliz Halloween, Feliz Dia de los Muertos. Chocolate, chocolate.